Breaking Bridget. The media reaction to the Boulder shooting.
I don't really like to address these serious things on Dumpster Fire because Dumpster Fire is a whimsical show filled with laughter and joy and fun and unicorns dancing while the world burns. And we generally just kind of back away from shootings in the same way that Homer Simpson backs into the shrubs when they come up because it's such a charged topic. The news is always breaking. There's always more information coming out. It's tragic. But this past week, there was a shooting in Boulder, and immediately all the normal people who you would kind of come to expect ran out onto Twitter with their bold proclamations of who they thought the shooter was before the shooter was even identified. And they all assumed it was a white man, all of them. There was one bad tweet after another, and I just don't tweet after. Like, rule number one of shooting Twitter, just don't tweet. Don't say anything. You don't have to say anything. And they came out with these horrible takes that make everything worse. You lose sight of the victims, and then it came out that the guy was from Syria. Always what gets lost in the shooting narrative, like always what gets lost in these discussions, is that this individual is mentally ill. There's always an individual who does these things. I'm sure you can't take it out of context and the social influences matter, but it's still like a crazy person doing a crazy thing. And it always gets swept up in all these larger narratives that are trying to blame the actions on groups for an individual. And it drives me fucking insane. And this week, the minute that the identity of the shooter came out, the narrative collapsed and they swept the entire story under the rug. And it was fucking gross. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to even come out and assume that and just assume this is going to be obviously a white shooter. This shit is so bad. It's so bad for our society. Just fucking pause when there's something like this going on and you want to get your hot take out there. Just pause. You don't have to tweet anything, especially something that's stupid and heartless. The takes were so bad. Siraj Hashmi, who does The List on Twitter, which is just bad takes whenever anyone tweets, he just puts the little hand, and it's one of the best Twitter follows ever. I was like, wow, you must be busy this week. And he's like, you have no idea. He provided all of the receipts for us for this section of the bad freaking tweets that people ended up all having to delete. They all had to walk them back or delete them. And then they were like, oh, the Syrian guy is obviously white because he isn't dead. Like, your brain is so fucking broken. If these are the things that you're saying, you have lost your mind. Your brain is not working if this is where you're going. I hate mass shooting media. It is the worst. That's why last week was absolute tragedy. It just this week was a tragedy. Anytime somebody goes bonkers and kills a bunch of people, it's fucking tragic. And it's a commonplace feature in our society. And there are many factors that are involved in the reasons for this that we don't really want to get into here because we just make fun of how stupid everybody is in the news and in the media. It's not our job to like go down the Second Amendment rabbit hole and like
no.
Above our pay grade, folks. Above our pay grade. I want people to come here, laugh at the news, and not feel so crazy and have like break from the actual news cycle. Go get your news from, I don't know where you get it from these days.
Legitimate news sources,
wherever those are. Them. It was tragic. It's been a couple of rough weeks, and I just wish the media wasn't so bad at covering this stuff because it automatically just like divides people into tribes, and they're all going to start yelling at each other. And obscured by all of this is the fact that tons of people are in mourning and have lost people that they loved. And our hearts always go out to all of those people. Anytime there's any kind of mass shooting, please know that our automatic default is to just respect them by not covering it and actually having some reverence for the families who are grieving.